There she is, Lady Liberty, a gift from France to the United States in 1886. Now, the Rangers haven't been playing that long, but this is their 100th year playing in the Big Apple. And inside the world's most famous arena tonight, the Edmonton Oilers look to continue to make MSG their second home. Twice, that man, Stuart Skinner, has played head-to-head against Igor Shesterkin, and twice Skinner and the Oilers have emerged victorious. Skinner has won his last 3 overall against the Rangers. Igor Shesterkin, he's off to a great start this year. He stopped 83 of 85
Low battery,
shots.
20%.
It's just whether
Dismiss.
or not his team can score in front of him. Big change for Edmonton. Gene talked about Jack Roslovic playing, and his insertion means that man, Trent Frederick, will take the opening as the third-line center for the Edmonton Oilers. And we're underway at MSG. Nurse and Stetcher, the D pairing. Here's a shot by Vasily Podkolzin that deflects right to Stetcher, making his season debut. It was blocked.
Low battery. Sharp speech off. Speed dismiss. I've tracked apps. 20. Go play. Go forward. Speed.
Download the Bet99 app. Oilers have won 3 in a row in this building and 5 of their last 6. It's Stetcher, a hard pass that tied up Nurse, but Podkolzin calmly spills it back to center. Louis, who was that guy ringside? Is that Gene Principe? We haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, good to see Gene down there right in the mix again. I think he got bumped around down there where the players come onto the ice.
Of course, you weren't near, so they knew they could take advantage of it.
He can handle himself.
There's Vladislav Gavrikov, signed a big ticket with the Rangers in the offseason on a pairing with Adam Fox, who's gotten off to a hot start offensively for the Rangers, who've outscored the opposition 10-1 on the road, but have yet to score a goal at home. That puck flipped out of play. 2 consecutive shutout losses for the Rangers, Louis, at MSG. No team in history has ever had 3.
Good stick here to start things off early on. This is a pick-off by Zibanejad on a bouncing puck. And before that, it was Zibanejad that had blocked the shot down the ice, Jack. And that just goes to show you Troy Stetcher playing his first game of the season, played 66 last year, always ready to go with a good defensive play early on to break up that play up there. And that would have been a great chance if that pass gets through.
New York played a back-to-back on the weekend. Beat Pittsburgh on Saturday, then shut out by the Caps on Sunday. And Saturday, Louis, Zibanejad scored. It was his 251st with the Rangers. He passed Mark Messier. You have some history here with Messier, don't you?
Well, the deal eventually was 1-for-1 about 8 years later, but it was a lot of us coming back to Edmonton for Mark Messier, and obviously brought the cup back to New York in '94 as one of the greatest leaders ever in the game.
Zibanejad now 8th all-time on the Rangers goal-scoring list, having moved in front of Messier. Here's McDavid off a feed from Draisaitl. Had his shot deflected away by Will Cooley, who had a nice second year in New York, and not many Rangers did last season. They were a non-playoff team a year ago after winning the President's Trophy in 2024. Bouchard to settle it down for Edmonton. We've played 2 minutes. Glacial pace. And now finally, Tomashek looked for a pass from Isaac Howard, making his first trip of any kind in New York City. He's never been to the Big Apple before. Quick shot from a sharp angle by Zibanejad, glanced off the side of the net. Adam Henrique able to collect for the Oilers, and on to Ty Emerson. No Alec Regula tonight. You'll recall he was shaken up in Edmonton's decisive win over Vancouver 3-1 on Saturday. Decisive on the shot clock, if not the scoreboard. Zibanejad, cross ice, Schneider a shot, and a save made by Stuart Skinner. Good chance for the Rangers early. Picked up and cleared by Henrique to Tomashek, and then whistled on net and blockered out a play by Shesterkin against Howard.
Getting the idea here that if you make some bad plays, the Rangers are going to capitalize back. Jack Roslovic playing his first game as an Edmonton Oiler, just recently signed by Stan Bowman to bring him on. They talked about the 5-on-5 even strength story points, 219 of the 260 that he's had in his career. Offensive-minded player, has scored 20 goals on 2 different teams, the Columbus Blue Jackets and last year with the Carolina Hurricanes. So he'll add some of that offensive punch on this line with Savoy and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Who won the face-off back to Nurse. His shot does not get through. Roslovic was saying playing with Nugent-Hopkins probably the easiest possible transition he could have hoped for. Noah Laba, the man who won the third-line center job for New York in the preseason, could not maintain the zone. The Oilers get it in deep, and here's Roslovic joining on the forecheck. He arrived in a trade from Columbus to New York late in that aforementioned 23-24 season when the Rangers finished first overall. Helped New York advanced all the way to the conference final that year. Stetcher, a shot that was blocked, and that trickles out to the red line. Corralled by Nurse and flung back into the New York zone. So the Rangers 2-2 entering tonight's play. The Oilers 1-0-1. Mangiapane, who scored in each of the first two games, elevated with Draisaitl and McDavid. A blast from Bouchard from distance that clattered off the plexi and grabbed by newly anointed Ranger captain J.T. Miller. Matt Rempe, known for his fistic prowess, able to muscle the puck back through center, and then Mangiapane stole it from Cooley. Grabbed it right back and left it for Gavrikov. Miller, the lead pass. Connor Sherry back in the NHL after spending most of last season in the American Hockey League. Rangers without Vincent Trocheck tonight. Huge loss, plays in all situations for the Blue Shirts.
Good step up by Gavrikov there to read that. He's familiar playing the Oilers for the last 3 years as a member of the LA Kings.
McDavid wheels in right-hand side to Draisaitl. Kapanen a backhander, and that was flipped wide. Rebound grabbed by McDavid. On to Brett Kulak, who's able to get around Miller. Cut off by Sherry. New York's coach Mike Sullivan had Sherry in Pittsburgh when Sherry won not one but 2 cups with the Penguins in his first 2 years in the league. Gavrikov. Return pass from Sherry. Gained the line. Stopped by Frederick. Went right to Carrick, and that was towed aside by Skinner. Rebound Gavrikov. Back to Sam Carrick. And his wrist shot was blocked. Carrick, of course, joined the Oilers for their run to the Stanley Cup final a couple years ago. Vakanainen up top. And now Schneider, his shot disrupted by Frederick. Battles through a check, kept alive by Schneider. Rangers have numbers down low, but Schneider can't thread his shot through. It was blocked by Emberson. Frederick on the rebound. Dangerous play in the slot, but Podkolzin read it. Got it to Kapanen. He'll snatch it back. And as Schneider pops him, Podkolzin makes sure to get it in deep. Carrick able to skate right around Trent Frederick and leave it for Vakanainen. Both teams on a reset personnel-wise about 6 minutes into the scoreless game. Edmonton does not have a shot yet on Shesterkin. The ruling that Howard shot was sailing high. Robertson had it blocked. Oilers funnel it back through. Stetcher has it picked off. Zibanejad dishes. Panarin waits, shoots it by Skinner, who's able to bail out Troy Stetcher after the turnover. We've played 6 1/4, no score. Stuart Skinner holding sway not once but twice. There's the toe save on Carrick to keep this game scoreless in New York City.
Can talk with the coach though through New York.
Flipped in by Taylor Radish of the New York Rangers. Edmonton still looking for its first shot credited on net. First of a stretch where the Oilers play 17 of their next 24 away from home. Rangers looking for their first goal of the season on home ice. Here's Tomashik breaking loose and to the net. It's rolled and flicked into the corner by Shesterkin. Howard to Henrique, back to Tomashik. Boy, he had some good looks on the power play first 2 games for Edmonton. Stonewalled particularly by Thatcher Demko on Saturday, who was terrific, but the Oilers stayed patient, Louis, and eventually wore the Canucks down.
Good resolve. You know, you can get really frustrated when you're up against a goaltender like Demko was Saturday night, where you just feel like, are we going to get one by him? But you stay with it and good things happen. That's what Edmonton did. They were able to persevere and come out with the victory.
McDavid feeds Bouchard at the point. That got through, blockered away by Shesterkin. And here comes Will Cooley. Shesterkin, like the rest of the Rangers, had an off year last year. Save percentage dropped all the way down to .905. That might have been a wayward stick from Mangiapane. Wasn't called. Gavrikov Off to Adam Fox, who already has 3 goals this year after waiting 28 games to get his first one a year ago. Won the Norris Trophy 4 years back. Tomashik pinned by Gavrikov, and Vakanainen will track it down as again both teams make changes on the fly. We've played 8 scoreless minutes. Oilers have their first 2 shots on net, and now scrambling up ice is the man they call the Breadman. Artemi Panarin choked off in the corner. Zibanejad stayed with it and threw it around the boards. Lafreniere. Panarin inside looking for Zibanejad, broken up, and here's Kasperi Kapanen away from the puck for Edmonton. But Colson spins, dishes off Frederick, forces a backhander wide. Emberson able to hold the zone. Frederick behind the net. Kasperi Kapanen angled off the boards. Emberson hesitated, let it fly, and that went off the skate of Schneider, picked up by Kapanen. Inside, poked free, and another Ranger went down. Crowd wanted a call, none forthcoming. Emberson centering pass, tipped back to Kulak. But Colson, hard rim back to Kulak, across, and that bounced off the skate of Frederick. But Louis, you see Knobloch trying to develop a checking line here.
It was Noah Philp who was on that line on Saturday night. They started against the Elias Pettersson line for the Vancouver Canucks with Podkolzin and Kapanen tonight. Trent Frederick steps into that center position with Philp being out of the lineup. But again, yes, I think for Chris Knobloch, he wants to have that secure third line that he feels can play against anybody. They started against Zibanejad's line tonight. Good shift against that line again to hem them in the offensive zone.
Inadvertently put out a play by Rempe.
This period brought to you by James H. Brown Accident Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters in injury law.
Good strong move here by David Tomashik here, and this is something we've really liked about him in his game. A little bit older, coming over after 10 years in Europe. That's a good heavy move, driving that puck into the blue paint and trying to get a scoring opportunity. Then Trent Frederick playing center for the first time this season. He's totally capable of playing both wings and the center position, but a little more movement of the feet. Good defensive play you saw right there with the stick, and that'll be something he's going to have to get back in the mindset doing, being the centerman down low.
Carrick beats Tomashik off the draw, and the Rangers will escape the zone as that was deflected out of play by Tomashik.
You know, Chris Knobloch was asked this morning about Noah Philp scoring his first goal in the NHL. It was a big goal against the Canucks on Saturday night. He finally foiled, Demko, and was able to kind of get things going for the Oilers, why he was a healthy scratch. And he said, listen, it's not punishment. It's just right now we have guys coming in the lineup. Jack Roslovic, we want to get him in. But also, we have guys that play special teams. And that's one thing for Noah Philp right now. He's not on the power play, not on the penalty kill currently. So it's just about morphing the lineup to what they want. But congratulations to him on his first goal. And pretty tough to sit out after scoring a goal, especially a big one like that. Did it my career a few times. Not that I was known for goal scoring, but
you were sat out once after scoring twice in a playoff game.
There you go. Get back to it and work yourself back into the lineup. That's what you can do, and that's why the National Hockey League is the toughest league in the world. Even if you're playing well, that doesn't necessarily mean it secures your spot. It's tough, but that's what real life's all about.
Crazy hop went to Darnell Nurse. He musters a clear to the Ranger blue line, and then Fox might have put too much on it, but Bouchard reels it in and then gave it away to Carrick. Man open to the slot, reach out, save, Skinner! He stopped Will Cooley, and that's 3 times now the Oilers have made big errors in their own end, and Stuart Skinner has bailed them out each time.
A little sharper, need to be a little sharper with the passes and making sure for the Rangers, they're not coming in looking for big hits. They're coming in positionally looking to pick off passes. Has to be clean.
McDavid to Bouchard to the net, gliding. Draisaitl sets a screen backdoor, and that was into the feet of McDavid. And now Matthias Ekholm will reassert control and get it back from McDavid. Bouchard trying to knock it down low. Mangiapane pestered by first Cooley and then Gavrikov. In the corner for McDavid. Another poke check, Gavrikov, who, as Louis mentioned, has seen him in 3 straight postseason series. Bouchard launches and a save made by Shesterkin. Gavrikov wisely to Fox, and poised as can be, the Rangers are able to get it back inside the Oiler blue line where Bouchard will reset.
A few words there between Mangiapane and Adam Fox, who gave him a pretty stiff cross check to clear him out of the way right when that shot was taken from the blue line.
Lead pass to Kulak. He'll gain the line for Edmonton. Filling the middle is Nugent Hopkins. Kulak couldn't get it to him, and it's Will Borgen, longtime standout for the Seattle Kraken, who pumps it up the right-hand side. Emerson looking left wing for Savoy. Borgen came over in the trade that sent one-time high first-round pick Capo Caco to the Pacific Northwest. Now Roslovic. First game as an Oiler, his 5th NHL team. Two-time 22-goal scorer. Speaking of 22, that's Brodzinski for New York, who clears ahead for Radish and then inadvertently flicked out a play by the rookie Noah
Go
Lama.
forward.
7:42 to go in the first period. Another Oiler turnover. Another.
High quality saves early. Probably something you don't want to, but you look after a loss for Stuart Skinner. And last season, he was really terrific and really dialed things. And that's a sign of a guy that after a tough start comes back out, gets himself mentally and physically ready. And that's what you're seeing here early on against the New York Rangers. A couple turnovers have led to quick chances, and he's had the answer for each of them so far in the first.
And what that also does, very simplistically, Louis, is it prevents losing streaks. If your #1 guy bounces back after a loss, you're not going to go on a skid. Save made off the rush against Mika Zibanejad by Stuart Skinner. And he's faced some high-quality chances in this period as Stencher dumps it in. No question that New York's had the higher quality chances, but they've been off Edmonton miscues.
A little self-inflicted in that direction.
Panarin with a giveaway. As I say that, here's Kapanen to Trent Frederick, a wrist shot and a save made by Shesterkin. Frederick has 4 goals against Shesterkin in his career. Keeps it alive for Kapanen. Zibanejad clawing at him. Kapanen protecting the puck. Off to Darnell Nurse. A shot, and that drifted just wide. Zibanejad able to collect the puck and clear it calmly for New York down the right-hand boards. 6:40 to go. First period, Madison Square Garden. Cloudy day in New York City. Oilers arrived yesterday around supper time.
Another good opportunity there from the defenseman Nurse to get that shot through. And we've seen a couple blocks by the Rangers, couple missed shot by Edmonton defensemen. You work hard to gain that position, get that shot, got to find it on the net.
Rempe icing.
ATCO Energy is the official energy provider of Rogers Place and proud sponsor of the Edmonton Oilers.
Here's that save by Stuart Skinner and Zibanejad down the left-hand side. One of the few he's had to make in this first period of the good quality. A couple even better ones from right down Main Street.
Carrick just won a big face-off there. Edmonton had a matchup it wanted with line 1 against line 4, but Carrick cleaned it up on the face-off.
Oilers' best save actually was on Sam Carrick when he tried to wrap that far side. The left pad got down and made that save on the drive to the net.
Here's Draisaitl to Bouchard. Drag move, shoots, and a glove save made by Shesterkin. Best chance of the night for Edmonton, and Shesterkin flashes it up.
Yeah, great save. Nice move here by Bouchard. Little fake, little toe drag, picks his spot, but Shesterkin with his best save of the game so far. Flat.
Assistant equipment manager Brad Harrison, they said, yeah, we're good with it, and so it suits them, especially when they're on the plane and on long trips.
Players love it. You know, we talked to Leon yesterday about it, and he said, listen, you're relaxed, you're comfortable on the plane, you all look unified because you're wearing the same thing. And he just said, you know, guys would get on the plane and typically they take off their suits, fold it up, stuff it in their bag or somewhere, get their tracksuit on, and then put the suit back on. This way, they don't have to. So makes it a little more comfortable with the new rules and dress codes.
Bouchard, a wrist shot that was stopped by Shesterkin. And now Draisaitl wide open, trying to center, and that was bumped just wide by McDavid on a redirect. Gavrikov may have interfered with that accuracy. And now Gavrikov comes away with. Now there's no truth to the rumor that you asked for extra room for your guns. Here's Sherry trying to sneak it short side, stepping up. Fox, a wrist shot, and that blistered wide. Gavrikov put it off the ankle of Bouchard, and all of a sudden New York flurrying after Edmonton had a couple of looks. Wristed around the boards by J.T. Miller. And now Adam Fox tried to center, deflected out to Miller, quick dish, and it was not handled cleanly by Connor Sherry. And as a result, the Oilers clear, and McDavid's got a chance against Fox, and a quick wrist shot stopped by Shesterkin, and the team starting to trade chances here for the first time with 5 minutes to go in a scoreless first.
Yeah, I think Gavrikov got a little piece of that attempt from Draisaitl through to McDavid. As you mentioned, he interfered, and there also probably would have been a tap-in backdoor. It was a laser pass, and then Draisaitl finds him on the fly. Good pickup skating backwards to keep it onside over the blue line by McDavid.
Vakanainen off to Braden Schneider. There's an opening for Kasperi Kapanen. Had his pocket picked from behind by Panarin with Podkolzin draped all over him. The Breadman perseveres ahead to Schneider. He'll get it in deep behind Kulak. Now Zibanejad creates for Panarin. One-timer ripped by Vakanainen, but that's going to be blocked with ease by Podkolzin, and a calm shift back to Frederick at center. Zibanejad, the longest tenured New York Ranger now, with Chris Kreider having departed to Anaheim. Kreider, Hedl, and of course Kakko, all gone from New York's top six. A redirect off a skate in front, chipped ahead Roslovic, with Robertson playing just his fourth NHL game. Beautiful dish, Roslovic, Stetcher backdoor, and Nugent Hopkins. That one handcuffed him a bit. Here's the towering Matt Rempe. Checked by Nurse. Puck freed up for Stetcher.
Nice pass by Roslovic. Gets down there quickly on the forecheck and then finds that seam as Stetcher collapses down. Then he makes a beautiful pass, just a little hot for Nugent Hopkins.
Nurse inside, and that might have gone off the stick of Shesterkin. Is hovering close by again was Nugent Hopkins, who's been a point-per-game player over the course of his career against New York. Oilers are 9-2-1 in their last dozen meetings with the New York Rangers. Gavrikov looking for Radish. He'll poke it in. Adam Henrique sends it around. Bouchard got it through Gavrikov, settled by Fox. From the red line, he'll dump it in. Skinner sets it level for Ekholm. 2.5 to go in the first period. Still no score. Rangers closing in on 140 minutes without a goal at home to begin the season. The modern record is 155, set by the 2001 Florida Panthers. Sent in deep by Shesterkin. Pittsburgh Pirates, Louis, back in 1928, went 187 minutes at home without scoring. McDavid walking in. Dishing for Nurse, a wrist shot, and a clean look for Shesterkin. He'll stick that one in his hip pocket with 2 minutes to go in the period.
Just a little bit before Mangiapane was in that lane. Here's a pass by Draisaitl, and just a little piece right there to flex that puck away from a sure tap-in or great chance by McDavid. Eyes in the back of his head as Draisaitl finds McDavid on the fly. He tries that little quick release, looking for 5-hole. Great block by Podkolzin as these two teams exchange back and forth. Roslovic, we've seen the speed twice in this game where he's been able to gain access in the zone. That was the pass back to Stetcher that set up that real good chance backdoor for Nugent Hopkins. Just couldn't convert.
McDavid tried to tuck it in front for Mangiapane, who then freed it up for his captain. A steal by J.T. Miller. Cooley bumped it back to Sherry, and he'll chip it behind the Oiler defense. Kulak ridden against the boards, trying to fight off his man. Draisaitl off to McDavid, and now Kulak sets up Mangiapane just inside the New York line. Fox stood up. Mangiapane stayed with it down the slot, rolled off his stick. Shesterkin didn't control, and then Gavrikov bodied up on Draisaitl. Clear high off the plexi, but held in by Bouchard. Spilled to the middle by McDavid. The intended target Mangiapane, but New York's away. Here's Panarin gliding in, shooting, and from behind, McDavid disrupted the shot and now has the puck.
Great backtrack by McDavid. That's just committing back to defense.
Less than a minute to go in our scoreless first period. Bouchard Trying to swing it cross seam for Podkolzin around the boards, and Gavrikov was just waiting for it. Launched it ahead for Panarin. And he'll send it in deep. Lafreniere hammered by Frederick. The puck shaken free for Podkolzin. Half minute to go in the period. Maybe a late developing 3-on-2 here. Frederick tried to hit Kapanen, but a good backtrack reeled in by Sam Carrick. Streaking in left-hand side, he'll get it in deep. The towering Edstrom goes about 6'7", 235. Rempe shook it free. Vakanainen, Schneider a shot, and that was blocked by Podkolzin. Nurse worked his stick free, and Podkolzin, the smart play, wedged it safely out, and that will be all for the opening 20 minutes. No score in the hockey game, live from Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, opened up a little bit in the second half of the first period, and you know, if you're going to do that, you have to be committed to coming all the way back to the defensive zone. For McDavid, he tried to make a play, and then Panarin tries to take this to the middle, and the speedy McDavid gets back and breaks up that shot opportunity. Which
nice decision, not necessarily to walk, guys, but to walk in brand new shoes. Call me Jackie Blisters.
But I agree. Great opportunity for Jack Roslovic, that is, and for everybody trying to vie for time on this team. A lot of different players being injected into the lineup, different opportunities for different guys, a little shuffling of combinations to try and find the right mix for head coach Chris Knoblauch. So go play your best.
Kapanen, a good defensive play as Panarin tried to wheel it back to the point. That put pressure on Robertson to free it up for Lafreniere, and it's a reset for New York. Opening second period. Nary a goal in the first. Stuart Skinner cleaned up a couple of dreadful turnovers by Edmonton early. The Oilers have since settled down and started to exert some pressure on Shesterkin here. Nurse got his feet tangled, fell down. Miller rolls in front, trying to center. And there's Troy Stetcher to bail out that situation. Savoy to Nugent Hopkins, tried to center. Gavrikov lost the puck in his feet, finally chipped out safely by the Rangers, and it's Miller. Lead pass for Cooley, his wrist shot sent wide. Miller drafted 15th by the Rangers the year Nugent Hopkins went first overall to Edmonton. This is his second tour of duty with New York, and he comes back as captain. Kulak on to Matt Savoy, cuts to his right, then tried to go left wing for Roslovic. That was canceled out. Lafreniere with Emberson back, a quick shot that's a right pad save for Stuart Skinner. Zibanejad will leave it in the corner. Kulak ambles over, could not pitchfork it out of the zone. Savoy with a secondary layer of support, but Zibanejad able to hem Edmonton in. Panarin. Will Borgen stepping up, shooting, and that went off Kulak. Richard Schneider whistled one off the goal post. And the Rangers still unable to break through at home. They do not have a goal at Madison Square Garden. And then Lafreniere was nearly relieved of the puck by McDavid. That was close.
He was gone if that doesn't fumble a little bit there. But again, some miscommunication and just some plays a little bit off on the weight of some of the passes in the defensive zone. Some too soft, some too hard.
McDavid dropped past a Draisaitl, and he got belted as he was heading toward the net. We have not had a penalty in this game. We have not had a goal in this hockey game. Ekholm off to McDavid. Tried a lateral maneuver that was deflected out to center. Shot back in by Ekholm. Gavrikov brushed it right back to Adam Fox. He'll move it, and Rempe a solid play off the wall. No icing here as Bouchard dashes back to pick it up for Edmonton. Rangers 2 up and 2 down this year. Lead pass is off the mark, and it was Edmonton that kind of triggered their first half slide last year. You'll recall, Louis, off to a 12-4-1 start, and yet the New York people were telling us, we're not sure about the Rangers.
You know, it's a little bit of window dressing, and some true colors will eventually come out. Here's Schneider with a great chance on the first shot that deflects right to him, and he rings the bar. But they have a great goaltender too, and sometimes that can clean up a little bit of a mess. He had a little tiny bit of a downturn last year, Shesterkin, but that's from a team perspective of numbers. But he's one of the best goaltenders in the league. You can't rely that heavily on a guy. You have to play better defense, and they've kind of overhauled the defense this year, especially 3 key guys in Lindgren, Keandre Miller, and Jacob Trouba. 3 veteran guys that took up a lot of the time on the back end for the New York Rangers. You and I were just talking about this in the intermission. This is a real switchover. It's given opportunities. Some young guys. Schneider's going to play more minutes. Vakanainen, Robertson getting in the mix. An Edmonton kid from Sherwood Park. And you know what? Gavrikov coming on board is a big signing in the offseason. So a little different look, and it's going to take a little time to get that back into the mix. Different partners for the defense always takes some time to find that chemistry.
And when you combine that with the upheaval in the top 6 up front, Louis, you've got a brand new Ranger team from the one that won the President's Trophy 2 years ago. The loss to Edmonton last year in the fall triggered just a collapse for the Rangers. They dropped 15 of 19 at one point and missed the playoffs. And a lot of people, present company included, had them as representing the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final prior to the start of the year. Adam Henrique, a backhander with a sharp angle, and a save made by Shesterkin. Sherry threw his head back as though he had been hit by a wayward stick. Nothing called. Cooley up to center. Nurse strong on the red line to pry that from Miller, and now a shot by Howard, gloved by Igor Shesterkin. 4 minutes into this second period with still a 0-0 slate on the scoreboard.
And I think sometimes when the pucks bounce a little bit, let's face it, this is Madison Square Garden, one of the most heavily used buildings in the world. And, you know, sometimes the ice here can be a little choppy, a little bouncy, and you got to get that in perspective. And you can't be too cute. And we've seen it a little bit early in this game from both sides. You get that puck on your stick, you're trying to settle it down, make that quick first pass. Sometimes you make it too hard. And we've seen some turnovers that have resulted in some real quality chances. Both goaltenders have been up to the task.
Nugent Hopkins digging in, winning the face-off. Savoy tried to shoot off the draw. That was blocked. And Nurse will take the ricochet. Try to pop it ahead for Savoy one more time. He'll shoot it in from the left wing. Settled by Shesterkin. Up the boards. Not out just yet. Zibanejad will reverse over to Schneider. Up to Lafreniere. Savoy on to Nugent Hopkins. And a 3-point night on the opening night, but Edmonton coughed up a 3-0 lead, lost in a shootout to Calgary before beating Vancouver on Saturday. Here's Panarin taking a lead pass. Forced out wide by Ekholm, who played it well. Panarin this time cross ice. Nurse was there in the shot lane, and Zibanejad whiffed anyway. Ekholm flung it in deep, taken by Fox as Edmonton changes. Long change here in the second period. Oilers opening up a 5-game trip. They'll be on Long Island Thursday, and then a Saturday matinee against the New Jersey Devils before closing it out in Detroit and our nation's capital, Ottawa. Just lost Brady Tkachuk for up to a month, we're told. Adam Fox on to Gavrikov. Cooley. Ekholm again standing up at the blue line, and it's Draisaitl McDavid away. Leon Draisaitl drops it, a blast by Ekholm, and that missed short side. Rebound taken by Cooley, chipped it around Bouchard. Cooley can skate, but McDavid reels him in easily, and now Bouchard will create a rush opportunity the other way. Draisaitl to Mangiapane. Bouchard fills the lane, centering pass to him, broken up by Fox. And the rebound to Cooley, and that's what Mike Sullivan's talking about. He's impressed with how Fox has come out defensively this season.
Well, he's using that cerebral mind of his to not only work on the offense but also the defense. Such a great positional player, and he's got a great stick, and you saw it right there. Just the patience to hang in there and wait for that attempt to cross by Mangiapane, and he doesn't allow that to get to Draisaitl.
Heavy hit by Robertson on Emberson, who does seem to take a pounding at times. Emberson shrugged off that check. But Colson, Emberson to Trent Frederick. Hit by Carrick. Worked around the boards. Kulak. Slid off a check from Rempe. Ends up in the corner. On to Kapanen inside to Colson. Broken up by Rempe. Now Colson shoots, and that missed high glove. Rebound Kulak. Toward the net, but off the skate of Borgen. Put it up the right-hand side for Carrick. Now a centering pass skating into it, and a save made by Skinner at the expense of Adam Edstrom. What a chance for the Rangers, and Skinner makes probably his 4th grade A save of the night. Edstrom will dump it back in. Stuart Skinner's been sharp when called upon.
He's been great. Some high-quality chances and real quick ones that
Go
happen in the
forward.
spur of the moment. So for a goaltender, it's that reaction. He's reacted well to some great chances.
Icing Edmonton.
The future Hall of Famer is late for dinner. Never done building. Coventry Homes, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
Here's Adam Fox, like you're talking about, just a good stick right there to break up the play by Bouchard and then tap it away from Draisaitl. And this is Edstrom, the big man. He's the small guy on the line at 6'7". Matt Rempe is 6'9", so almost 14 feet, well over 13 feet of body on the wings for Sam Carrick. He doesn't need it, but feels even much taller than he already is.
Who was the tallest guy you ever fought?
Chara, 6'9".
Oh,
so
right,
Rempe would be the
6'9".
same, and I'll tell you, more than a handful.
And you said Chara didn't realize he had you in trouble because it was early in his career.
Thank goodness.
Adam Henrique at center. Pried off his stick by Radish, and the Rangers on the counter. Brzezinski wrapping up his Laba. He's a rookie out of Colorado College. That's in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Adam Fox biding his time. Gavrikov and the Rangers are offside. Panarin and Lafreniere may have been a step in early. Approaching the midway point of the hockey game in the Big Apple. No score. Edmonton.
After losses last year, he was dialed. He's dialed in this one. You know, it's the flip side. Sometimes when the goals go in early, when you're dominating a game and one goes by a goaltender, for Stuart Skinner, he's given his team a chance right now to weather some storms and mistakes they're making, and they need to get a little sharper in front of them and start moving the other way.
And again, in his career, he's outdueled Shesterkin twice in this building. Oilers have won 5 of 6 at Madison Square Garden, including 3 in a row. Savoy to Bouchard, bumped ahead. Jack Rosselman shrugs off Zibanejad, builds speed, gains the line. Nugent Hopkins twisted back. One-timer Ekholm had it blocked by Lafreniere.
There's another opportunity again to get a puck through. That's a good block by Lafreniere, but you have to make sure you get it by that first wave of defense. Mike Sullivan, old teammate of mine in Phoenix, one of the best shot blockers I ever saw. So you know his teams are going to be committed to getting in lanes. And for Edmonton, they've had some difficulty getting pucks through to the net.
Mike Sullivan, the latest veteran coach to join New York. Before that, Gerard Gallant, Peter Laviolette haven't been able to get the Rangers across the finish line. Sullivan did early in his Pittsburgh tenure. It was a decade with the Penguins for Mike Sullivan. No playoff appearances the last 3 years. Lead pass for Nurse broken up. He's already been back to Pittsburgh. The Rangers have played a home-and-home with the Penguins. Essentially, New York's lost a couple of 1-0 games. Actually 1-0 to Washington on Sunday, and then a 3-0 loss to Pittsburgh with 2 empty netters. Nurse to McDavid, dropping it off for Draisaitl, and 1 pass too many that time. As Kapanen not looking for it. Cooley up the right-hand side. A man taken down. Crowd thinks it's a penalty, but it's an icing call against the Rangers. There's no call for a trip. That's just icing against the host New York Rangers.
Darnell Nurse standing up in the line. His old teammate Sam Carrick. They know each other well. 16 games back at 23-24, as you mentioned earlier. Just kind of bumps into him on the line. Here's maybe a little overpassing. We talked about, you know, was trying to get that puck to the net, but Darnell Nurse was looking at the net. He thought that was going to the net. It was right in the wheelhouse. It was actually a great pass. Sorry, Darnell. I thought it was just a missed pass, but you got to put it on a tee for him.
Block shot. Sherry race for the puck. Sherry and Emberson, who got back in time to deflect it over to Brett Kulak. Emberson once in New York system. Here's a centering pass and another save on Edstrom by Skinner, point blank, after a terrific setup from Sam Carrick, and the Rangers just cannot break through at home.
Edstrom's had a couple solid looks in this game so far, and he's looking at the big screen saying, how did this one not go through? Good shot block to set this in motion. And then from the corner, it's a hard pass here. He just kind of gets it in deep, and it's Sam Carrick that eventually funnels this one out to Edstrom, and he gets it away cleanly and quickly.
Frederick.
Good save, Stuart Skinner.
And Rempe. Puck trickles free, but Colson. Rolling puck collected by Vakanainen. Braden Schneider. Vakanainen tried to jam it in deep, but now it's a lead pass for Frederick. Wrist shot, score! And Edmonton breaks through! Trent Frederick, that's his 5th goal on 15 shots against Igor Shesterkin, and his first regular season goal as an Oiler.
Yeah, nice finish here by Trent Frederick. And a nice pass, good neutral zone coverage here to break this up. And as you'll see this one come back up the ice, boom, it's right on the tape of Frederick. And he just gets the wheels going, and we've talked about this. Good coverage, little pick-off here by Kapanen. That puck doesn't get deep for the New York Rangers. And he finds Frederick, gets his feet moving, good puck protection here, gets that right leg out, bam. Quick little release on Shesterkin, buries it for the first goal of this game. We've seen some choppy play, some turnovers. This one was a good defensive play by Kapanen in the neutral zone. When he finds Frederick, sends him in, 1-0 Edmonton.
Pete Shesterkin 5-hole. Brodzinski has drawn a penalty here, kept the feet moving, had the stick dislodged from his grip. And the Oilers, after taking a 1-0 lead, will be short-handed. It's the first power play of the game, and it belongs to the New York Rangers. Stetcher to the box, but Trent Frederick has given Edmonton a 1-0 lead on Sportsnet.
The next Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $15 million. So if you win, you won't just see the world. You could see it with your sister, your parents, all your friends, even your own personal chef. Now that's dreaming to the max.
The table for the New York power play in at 2
Save
of
on
11
Foods is giving
season.
you extra with Score and Win.
Gabby and Bob
Every goal is a
Frederick,
chance to give you
we
that
understand, are
great
in
feeling.
attendance at Madison Square Garden. And obviously, they're helping Trent get off the schneid. What a save by Skinner. Point blank on JT Miller. Here's Fox. Wrist shot. Whistled wide by Artemi Panarin. Again, Skinner with a quality save from the slot. That's about the 5th or 6th high danger look from the slot that New York has had tonight.
He's been the difference so far in the game.
Here's Miller getting it in deep. Partial break for Frederick. Converted 5-hole on Shesterkin. While Skinner has cleaned up the Edmonton errors. One-timer, not much on that. Deflected in front and off the side of the net. Initial drive taken by Zibanejad. Broken stick on the ice. A one-timer, and Panarin didn't get what he wanted on that. So this is basically 5-on-3.5 with no stick for Savoy. Out there with Nugent Hopkins, Kulak, and Nurse. Fox dishing. Lafreniere. Fox. One-timer save. Skinner on Mika Zibanejad and a hard rimming out. Sent by Kulak.
Sorry, Darnell Nurse had Matt Savoy stick there. Wrong hand and a little bit shorter than the one he's used to using, but good smart play by Savoy to hand it back down to him once he saw that he didn't have one. Better for a defenseman to have a stick around the net.
And when you say a little bit shorter, you mean about a foot shorter. Here's Schneider.
It still has some
Penalty
piece of
coming.
lumber.
Penalty coming.
It's going to Edmonton.
And this is going to be a 5-on-3, but for just 12 seconds. High sticking the call, and it's levied against Leon Draisaitl. And with 7.5 minutes to go in the second, a real opportunity for New York to draw this game even against the man who once was coaching in their system. There's a look at Mike Sullivan.
Yeah, vital to win this faceoff. Here's the chance in the slot right there. And for Darnell Nurse, his stick evaporates eventually, and he gets it handed down. Another great save by Stuart Skinner to scramble. He's just pushing guys around, but there you go. Savoy says, yeah, you need a stick. Get that broken one out of there. And he leaves the shrapnel there. You notice that? For Darnell Nurse, he doesn't clear. He's like, this might take a pass away if it hits the stick, so leave it there. But Lafreniere is like, no, get it out of there. So he moves some of it to the corner to open up the lanes. But a 5-on-3 briefly here for the Rangers.
Draisaitl trying to lift the stick of Schneider and clipped him up top. Here's Panarin as the 5-on-3 set to come to an end. No shot from Fox. Zibanejad gives it back to him. Fox wired one off the pads of Skinner. And now it's a 5-on-4 as Stetcher races onto the ice for Edmonton. Fox handling up top. Panarin trying to work his way through Ekholm, then Emberson off to Fox. Panarin Try to seam pass that was picked off and cleared by Nugent Hopkins in one motion. Down to 1:20 on the penalty to Draisaitl. Zibanejad breaks free. Drop pass. Miller shoots and a block shot. Henrique went down to get it and sent it out of play.
Selling out. Great block by Henrique. JT Miller, as Oiler fans know well, can really fire that puck. And he walked right into the middle. He picked his spot looking to go high. And Henrique just does a great job to wait right until he gets down into the lane. Hesitate, boom. I know you're trying to go far side there. Takes it away. Excellent block.
Zibanejad against Henrique. Out there with Savoy. Nurse and Kulak. And a clean face-off win for Henrique. Allows a routine 200-foot clear from Kulak, and the Rangers must reset. 18,000 at the world's most famous arena. The blue shirts on the attack. Panarin shovels it down low. Zibanejad got engaged with Nurse, who won the battle. Up to Henrique, and the puck down the ice. And there's some unrest in this building. Rangers have won both their road games. They have yet to score at home. Fox wristing it down deep. Played well Sunday against Washington. Outshot the Caps 35-21, but failed to break through against Charlie Lindgren. A lead ends up on the stick of Bouchard. Another clear, and you start to hear the howls of discontent. Sherry back to Cooley. Last rush for the power play for the Rangers. Skinner will knock it down, leave it for Ekholm. New York was offside. They got to peel back on. Ekholm, smart Louis to just take his time, and he'll skate it out of the zone as the New York power play dies. Now McDavid fresh onto the ice. Draisaitl out of the box. Bouchard belted from behind. Lost the puck. You've got Borgen for New York. Nurse defending. Borgen lost it. Sherry backdoor. And that was flubbed by Rempe. What a sitter. Skinner may have been there, though. Draisaitl, drop pass, McDavid, backhander, and he tossed it over the net. Rebound, Draisaitl. To the point, poked free from Darnell Nurse by Sam Carrick. Reach shot, and that, I thought, might have been in the net. They're going to rule it went off the goalpost at live speed, Louis. I thought that came in and out. We'll have to check it.
It did look like it took a funny one. It was off the crossbar, we're being told.
Okay.
But it was a zinger. It was a zinger.
And there was no
Carrick's
sound.
had a strong game so far. He's had a couple great looks and gets this one away in a hurry. And that's what eludes Skinner. You can see him. He catches him in the process of going from up to down in his position. Up over the shoulder, bar out.
That's two bars now for the Rangers.
Right there. Yeah, they've had a couple. Schneider rang one this period, and then you just saw Sam Carrick has had a couple of terrific looks in the game. The ex-Oiler rings that one off the bar.
And that was a strange bounce, the way it kicked laterally and didn't really leave the crossbar. So we've got a whistle. A face-off coming at center when we return. 5 minutes to go in the second period. The Oilers won. The Rangers no score. Carrick.
Go backward. Speech off.
Shifts to Seattle, where the Jays look to get back into the series. Bob and Gabby Frederick may be wondering where the St. Louis Cardinals might end up next season. Meanwhile, in honor of Ben Stelter and his legacy in oil country, tonight's Oilers 50-50, presented by Rogers in support of the Kids with Cancer Society and the Ben Stelter Foundation. Jackpot just under $100,000 in climbing tasks. Get your tickets now at EdmontonOilers.com/50-50.
1-0 Oilers. Final 5 minutes of period 2. Edmonton has got a couple of bounces tonight. And then Trent Frederick cashed in off a feed from Kasperi Kapanen, who made a steal in the neutral zone. And the Oilers also aided by a solid performance from Stuart Skinner tonight. As Edmonton has been far from perfect on a night where, I agree with you, Louis, the more this game wears on, you can see the ice. This puck is not the easiest to handle. At times it looks like a chuck-a-puck out there. Here's Draisaitl. Backhanding it to Kapanen. A shot sharp angle handled by Shesterkin, and Carrick leaves it for his goaltender to cover.
No matter McDavid's ambition, CIBC would have a personalized plan, just like we'll have a plan for you too. CIBC, proud partner of Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers.
And sometimes because of that, Jack, you know, you start to figure out, hey, maybe we just need to get this puck to the net, simplify things, chip and charge, get bodies in front. They haven't got a lot of shots through the traffic, as we've talked about the Rangers, a solid blocking team and really dedicating themselves. You saw Kapanen in there, though. Instead of trying to force a high-skilled pass through all those bodies, tries to catch Shesterkin sleeping short side. He was ready for it and read it well. Get the puck to the net.
On to Lafreniere, missed short side off the rush. Rebound Panarin, a dart on net, handled by Skinner. Rebound Zibanejad tried to chip it in front. A midair swipe by Panarin. And again, that puck on edge. Nugent Hopkins challenge. Forced down low for Stetcher. Roslovic. Puck doesn't get out just yet. Gavrikov has him tied up. Tomashik a play to the middle, and that was well handled by Nugent Hopkins to get it back to Tomashik, who cuts inside and from one knee almost managed a shot on net. And the net dislodged from its moorings. Oilers still have not drawn a power play tonight. New York came in a perfect 10 of 10 on the kill. They haven't had a chance to put that to the test.
Another good drive by Tomashik here, and I like this about him. He's, again, this puck has been on edge the whole game. You can see it again. It just won't settle down. Once he gets it, instead of just chipping this in, he tries to drive this into the middle. Good play by Gavrikov to use the size to get in his way, but I like the fact that he's challenging. That puck doesn't hit the stick of Gavrikov first. He might dig in a little bit more, a little quicker, but the stick of Gavrikov breaks it up a bit.
Little switch here as Frederick moves into the slot. McDavid and Mangiapane. This is a 5-on-5 shift. Keep an eye on this one. Up the left-hand side. Skinner will leave it for Ekholm. Lead pass misfires to McDavid, and that miscommunication leads to an icing call. The Oilers have just 11 shots in this hockey game, and we've played 37 minutes.
Yeah, and in this second period, they've really struggled to get shots through. Only 3 on net so far. We'll keep an eye on Draisaitl. He's on the bench, so maybe for Chris Knobloch, he's going to separate them for the first time this season. Maybe to try and get a different look, set up a little different line. We'll watch for it, but
Miller won a face-off. Came down low. McDavid busted up any sort of cycle opportunity, and now it's Mangiapane for McDavid. Hits the trailer. Ekholm had trouble controlling the puck as it hopped over a stick. Miller likewise didn't get it cleanly on his stick, but stepping up and shooting it in will be Borgen for New York. Now Miller.
Pass just a little off into the zone, eh?
Sherry tried to tuck it inside, and Ekholm makes the steal. Schneider holds the zone for New York. He'll wind it around. Ekholm got his stick on it. Carrick, big hit from behind, levied by Enstrom, and then walking back in is Carrick with a play on side. He put one off the collarbone of Stuart Skinner. Rempe down low, big hit by Ekholm on Carrick. He went down in a heap. Now Vakanainen, double deflection, winds up wide for Rempe. He'll return it to the point. Vakanainen to Sam Carrick. Vakanainen. Schneider, wrist shot, and that was blocked. Rebound, Edstrom did not get it on net. Carrick in the vicinity. Tell you what, this line has had some decent looks for the New York Rangers.
The best looks.
Bouchard. Backhands it in deep as we go inside. 2 minutes to play in the second period. The Oilers lead the Rangers 1-0. That was the score by which New York fell to Washington on Sunday evening. Kulak put it down low. Schneider to Rempe. Isaac Howard able to hold the zone, and Schneider will try the left-hand side. Vakanainen, his outlet. Rempe did not get it in deep. Kulak wouldn't let him, and now Henry creates for Howard. Stutter step around Schneider, who does well to cut him off. Gets help on the double team backside, but then Kulak was able to keep it in for Adam Henry. 1 minute to play, second period. Oilers lead it 1-0 on Trent Frederick's first regular season goal as an Oiler. Now remember, he only played about 15 seconds.
Yeah,
He got hurt in this first 15 seconds for Edmonton. Hobbled his way through his one regular season game in LA. Here's Panarin. Played about 6-7 minutes that night. One-timer Miller, but a clean look for Skinner, and he'll put that puck to rest for his 16th save of the night.
Play Safeway My NHL Picks weekly for your chance to score all season long. You could even win an NHL getaway for you and your family. Download the Safeway app to start playing today.
Stuart Skinner taking a little time here as his stick is broken. You can see the big blade cracked in half on that last blast from the blue line. We are seeing Leon Draisaitl centering a different line here. So for Chris Knoblauch separating the two big guys for the first time. Usually it's the opposite, right? When are they going to be put together? Well, this season it's been a little different. This is the first time they're going to be apart. And Draisaitl looks like he's going to center a line with Kapanen and Podkolzin.
Well, it's really the inverse situation. Normally they're put together when trailing. Now they're separated when ahead.
I think he's recognizing that they're just having a little trouble generating some chances. So maybe a little shake-up and mix-up will stimulate some offense.
Miller tried to tuck one inside. Cooley had it and lost it. And New York's shot total of 17 is a little deceptive. They've hit 2 posts, and again, of those 17 shots on net, there's been 7 or 8 tremendous looks from the slot. And Stuart Skinner is erased. Here's Cooley. Wrist shot, that went off a body. Connor Sherry tried to tuck it in front, and now a steal and a clear by Draisaitl. And at the horn, Edmonton will take a 1-0 lead into the dressing room, and New York has now played 8 periods at home without scoring. The Oilers looking for their 4th consecutive win at the Garden.
Big goal by Trent Frederick, and you know, we talked about him moving to center for the first time this
game out of reach.
I think they started double clutching and thinking a little too much in the second period and didn't have the chances they had in the first period, but those chances weren't all getting on the net. We talked about them having over 20 shot attempts in the first period and only 8 on net. They got to get back to it though, and this might mean just taking that little bit off of it, making sure it gets through that first defender, past the block opportunity. But for me, it's simplifying. Trying to overpass sometimes, put the puck on the net, good things happen here. This was a nice pass though, actually. I think for Draisaitl, he probably thought that that puck was going to go to the net again. Take a little ownership in it, create your chances, and when you get them, put it on the net, as you saw Trent Frederick, who scored the only goal so far in this hockey game to make it 1-0 for Edmonton in the second period.
And Louis' Closer Look brought to you by Specsavers. Don't miss a play. Keep your eyes healthy with regular eye exams, including OCT. So, with the score 1-0, and Leon Draisaitl having been separated from Connor McDavid and now playing on a line with Nugent Hopkins and Roslovic to start the third. So yet another shuffle. We saw briefly Draisaitl reunited with Podkolzin and Kapanen. The Oilers moved into the attacking zone. The Rangers able to break the puck out, and now Lafreniere. Off to Will Borgen, his wrist shot into traffic, and again the Rangers unable to come up with a rebound, and Draisaitl poked it away from Robertson, who pinched, and here's Roslovic dishing off, shot Nugent Hopkins denied by Shesterkin. The rebound swatted away from Draisaitl just in time. Stetcher following up. Roslovic dishing off, Draisaitl backdoor, and Roslovic thrust off balance, went down in a heap. And here comes Mika Zibanejad for the Rangers, who have not scored in their first 160 minutes on home ice this year. Panarin around the boards, Gavrikov. Sherry coming out of the corner, wheeling it up to JT Miller. Panarin cuts to his right, shoots, and a save. Skinner rebound in the blue paint, available, and again muscled to the corner by Stetcher. Adam Fox. Gavrikov looking for a seam. One-timer Fox and a save. Skinner rebound again loose and thrust into the corner by Stetcher. Edmonton hanging on here, and Draisaitl gets a clear to Tomashik. He's got Mangiapane with him. Tomashik will take Cooley to the net and try to stuff it 5-hole on Shesterkin, who makes the save. And there you see Tomashik at age 29, Louis. He knew who was back defensively and took him hard to the hole.
Absolutely. He's driven that puck to the net 3 different times in this game. Some blasts from outside with JT Miller right in the crease. This is the first one that goes through. Good defense by Troy Stetcher to set up this play. A nice pass From Roslovic over Nugent Hopkins, JT Miller was planted right in the blue paint. For Stuart Skinner, he had to scramble a few times to make saves in tight. And then Tomasik, as you mentioned, Jack, drives that puck right to the net.
Now, did your eyes get wide when you saw forward was back as the last line of defense?
No, because I probably wouldn't have recognized who it was.
Tomasik.
I had a tendency to look at the puck.
Tomasik to Ekholm, sent around the boards by Bouchard. Schneider dislodged from Mangiapane, coming over Sherry. The diminutive one can't clear, but Schneider does up the right-hand side. Too much on it. This is going to be an icing call against the New York Rangers, who trail 1-0.
This period brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of no payments, no interest for 1 year.
But you know, Jack, in all honesty, there's Connor McDavid on the ice here. He's going to center a different line, and Adam Henrique getting a little ice with him, and Savoy as well on this line. But when you do look up and see a forward, it's just a green light to tack, right? They're just not as effective skating backwards, defending. And for Tomasik in his first year in the National Hockey League to recognize that, he's done a lot of things that we've been impressed with. But his mind and the way he thinks the game right now, we're seeing that he's determined to get that puck to the net no matter who it is.
McDavid wheels back to collect from Ekholm and now starts sprinting down the right-hand side. Cuts to his left, puck knocked off his stick. Rempe off balance, but got it back inside the Oiler blue line. Kulak across to Emberson. Adam Henrique wide open, Savoy to the net, and that wrist shot might have grazed Shesterkin. Bit high up on the plexi. Now Emberson a shot, and that's snared by Shesterkin. 1-0 Edmonton with still more than 17 minutes remaining.
Good urgency here. A nice quick release here by Matt Savoy. Takes the puck, and it's from defense to offense. Nice little pass up the ice by Emberson. McDavid finds Savoy going down the right-hand side. He lets that one go. He's got a very hard shot. Gets it away in a hurry as he gets the feet going. But matchup there, Mike Sullivan leaving the fourth line out there against Connor McDavid's line, so showing some real confidence in the fact he's got two big wingers on the flanks, and Rempe and Edstrom along with Carrick to go up against Connor McDavid's line.
Really, both coaches are trying to establish a checking line that they can rely upon, trying to build confidence in that line. And here you see Frederick reunited with Podkolzin and Kapanen.
Mike Sullivan was a fourth line player too in his career, and he had to go up against matchups a lot. And you know, that's the identity you want to have for your team, any team. And I think Chris Knobloch's talked about it too. When guys are out in the ice, do the job. Whoever you're up against, have that recognition. Sometimes you're going to have to play smarter and more defensive against a skilled line. Go out there and do it.
Podkolzin dumps it in. Kapanen. And now Podkolzin to Emberson. His shot misses short side. Because, of course, if the fourth line can saw off the top line for the opposition, you can win matchups in other phases. Braden Schneider breaking away from Podkolzin and leaving it for Vakanainen. Edmonton will be on Long Island Thursday night for a date with the New York Islanders and their brilliant rookie Matthew Schaefer is playing 26 minutes a night the last couple games at age 18 from the back end. Here's a shot taken Lafreniere, stopped by Skinner, rebound played into the corner, not out, shot from distance, redirected up over top by Panarin, who was hovering close by. Zibanejad finishes his check. Draisaitl does not get it out, but Roslovic does, and now you've got Nugent Hopkins. Robertson back, played it well.
A good defensive play by Robertson. For Nugent Hopkins, he wanted to try and buy some time for the late man.
Tough pass off the skates of Lafreniere. Turnover Rangers. Draisaitl soft chip, gets it back. Then again tried to feed Nugent Hopkins, wasn't there. Bouchard to Draisaitl. Served up for Ekholm. Bouchard lets one fly, hit his own man. Nugent Hopkins off balance, and the Rangers will come away with it as it's slammed off the boards and out by Artemi Panarin, and the Oilers will regroup in their own end. Frederick from Kapanen, the game's only goal. 1-0 Edmonton as the Oilers look to go 2-0-1 on the year. Rangers Adam Fox, perennial Norris candidate. Sherry flubbed one, and that allows Henrique to set the table for Emberson. Savoy trying to get it in deep. Gavrikov knocked it down, and the Rangers may have a 3-on-2. Rempe, though, conservatively just chips and charges in around Brett Kulak. Isaac Howard did not get it out. Sam Carrick. This has been a tough line for Edmonton to handle tonight. Emberson against the hulking Rempe down low. Edstrom's been stoned twice tonight by Skinner. Here's Fox, a shot from distance, and that's skipped wide. Rebound Gavrikov around the boards. Carrick, he'll slam it toward the net, blocked, and a chance coming the other way. Isaac Howard, little spin move on Fox, couldn't get the backhander away. Carrick will pump it behind the Edmonton net. Skinner leaves it calmly for Tomashik. Plays it to the middle of the ice. Mangiapane did not handle cleanly. Sherry had his pocket picked by Mangiapane. It's back into the Rangers zone. Across to Schneider. And punched forward by Will Cooley. Here's Skinner to the corner. Stetcher was stapled, but Cooley lost his stick in that collision. Now recognizes it's still available. Sherry tries to get inside Nurse. Mangiapane had it and lost it. Miller back to the point. One-timer Schneider, and that was blocked by Tomashik. Rebound McDavid couldn't get it around Will Borgen. Again, he was looking to get off to the races there. Tomashik comes up with a loose puck. He's got McDavid with him. Gives it to him. McDavid in front. Mangiapane a shot, and that might have grazed a portion of Shesterkin. Rebound JT Miller. Borgen to Cooley, and this will be icing against the Rangers, I believe.
Play Alberta's biggest offer ever is here. Sign up today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Well, it's an Atlantic Division showdown. Scotiabank Wednesday night hockey. Senators, now without Brady Tkachuk, take on the winless Buffalo Sabres. That's tomorrow, 4:30 Mountain on Sportsnet 1. And we'll have the Oilers and the Islanders from UBS Arena Thursday. A 5:30 Mountain Time face-off. Here's Miller to Cooley, and a shot pushed wide. Rebound at the far post. Bouchard made the play he needed to stymie Sherry and not allow him to potentially uncork a shot that could have tied this game. And Roslovic will jab it out of the zone, icing against Edmonton, but the Oilers duck out of danger once more.
Strong stick too by Bouchard afterwards to kind of funnel through and not allow a wraparound attempt afterwards. This is a 3-on-2 that's created off this face-off. Cooley has the first chance, denied by Skinner, aggressively getting across to make this save, or attempted save. I think it was off the stick of Ekholm. But right there, Bouchard closes that off on the far side with his skates and his stick to not allow the wraparound attempt on the follow-up.
Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Roslovic dig in for a D-zone draw against New York's top line. Mika Zibanejad kicked out to the point for Adam Fox. Panarin stick handling, but Draisaitl smartly just stayed right with him. And then eventually it was forced out of the zone by Nugent Hopkins. You've got Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl, two pretty solid defensive players there. Zibanejad on a dash back in. It's turned over. Frederick the other way. He's got Nugent Hopkins with him. Trent Frederick puts the brakes on against Fox, who closes that distance quickly and forces it back to the red line. Lafreniere on to Panarin. Fox, a little headed shoulder fake and a wrist shot that was swallowed up by Emberson. Fox picks up another loose puck in the zone, dumps it on net and changes into the New York shift, and the Rangers starting to show signs of frustration. Here's Kulak hitting the line, waved at by Gavrikov, and Kulak got the stick up, and Gavrikov's drawn a penalty here.
High sticking.
Second of the game whistled against Edmonton. And this will be New York's third power play of the night, with still nearly 12 minutes left. Kulak driving in. Stick gets up, and the Rangers will look to tie it.
Some people think doing two things at once is hard.
While real forestry workers like me do it all the time.
Because we're helping the economy, and at the very same time, we're doing our part for the
Oilers 50-50, presented by Rogers, is in support of the Kids with Cancer Society and the Ben Stelter Foundation. The jackpot is currently $108,494 and climbing fast. Get your tickets now at edmontonoilers.com/5050.
Brett Kulak in the box. Stuart Skinner, who has stopped all 22 shots that have come his way, now will stare down a third Ranger power play. New York really fell off. They were fourth in the league over a 3-year stretch and then tumbled to 28th last season when they missed the playoffs. A shot by Fox is squeezed right at the breastplate by Stuart Skinner. Save number 23 on the night with Edmonton up 1-0.
Little floater by Fox right off the faceoff. He knew that a couple of his teammates, Miller and Zibanejad, were kind of right in the mix in front of the net. Just tried to throw it in there quickly, maybe for a redirection, and Stuart Skinner is able to follow it the whole way.
Bouchard hammers it down the ice. This one has been far from a beauty, but the Oilers, if they can close it out over the next 11.5 minutes, will skip merrily to Long Island on Thursday. Ekholm drove it just past Artemi Panarin. Adam Fox gains the line. JT Miller snapped it over to Zibanejad. Here's a centering pass, and Bouchard got his stick in the lane to disrupt a bit for Panarin. Savoy the clear, and he'll change. Nugent Hopkins onto the ice, disrupting his draft mate, JT Miller. Here's Fox. Good play by Miller to settle down that rocket of a pass. Then centering pass and a one-timer missed by Zibanejad. Wow, wide open in the slot. Can't finish. Panarin. Fox up top against Mangiapane. Shot Panarin, save Skinner, and the rebound bumped away from Lafreniere. Held in by Zibanejad. Miller around the boards. Artemi Panarin will get it back from Miller. Mangiapane lurking. Adam Fox looking for a lane. It's not there. Panarin. Fox, remember, already has 3 goals. Here's Miller trying to go backdoor. Lafreniere not ready. Contains and back to Fox. Wrist shot off the pads of Skinner. 10 minutes to play in the hockey game. Penalty time down to 15 seconds. Fox steps up. Moves it. Panarin a shot, and that off the shoulder of Skinner. Fox showing one-timer, dishing off. Shot Panarin, stopped by Skinner, and the rebound smacked out of midair and then blasted down the ice by Emerson. You're going to need your goalie to win you a few games. Edmonton on top 1-0. It's interesting how things have changed in 72 hours. Oilers outshot Vancouver 37-15 on Saturday. Managed to win that one 3-1. Tonight they've been outshot 26-14. Looking to win another close, low-scoring game. Draisaitl out there with McDavid as Edmonton back 5-on-5. Roslovic gets around Carrick. Surveys, spins, dishes off McDavid. Bouchard directs. Ekholm a drive, and a glove save made by Igor Shesterkin with 9 minutes to play. 1-0 Edmonton on a second period goal by Trent Frederick. Stuart Skinner, stellar at the Garden.
Pretty good hit here by Matthias Ekholm on Sam Carrick, who's had a strong game for the Rangers. Puts him into the corner. That's the way to keep a guy from driving to your net. And the big Swede making his presence felt.
McDavid lining up for an offensive zone draw with Mangiapane and Tomashik. Won it cleanly back to Ekholm. Edmonton looking to close it out. Here's McDavid. Tried to center. That was broken up. Rangers on the puck. Gavrikov didn't get it out initially. Got some help from Cooley. And it's rolled back to the Oiler blue line. Bouchard on to McDavid. Moves in. Waits, dishes, Ekholm to the net with a backhander, and that might have kissed the mask of Igor Shesterkin. Ekholm sprawling to keep it in the zone. Now McDavid to the net, and a save on Bouchard. Excellent chance for Edmonton, and Shesterkin now keeping the Rangers' hopes afloat.
His best save sequence in the game, in my opinion, and you're right. Good chance short side by Ekholm to drive it to the post, and then also an excellent pass by McDavid to Bouchard. Here's Ekholm activating from the blue line, backhand up off the shoulder head of Shesterkin. That one was labeled top shelf, and then Bouchard coming in from the point. Good work in the corner. Mangiapane to McDavid, bang. Bouchard in the slot gets all he wanted on that one. Swallowed up by Shesterkin.
Bouchard still without a point this season as we're approaching the end of game 3. Oilers looking for a victory to open up this 17 games out of 24 on the road stretch. Frederick did well to hold the zone, albeit momentarily. Now Kulak pursued by Matt Reppe. Run off the puck, centering pass. Edstrom again denied by Skinner. He's had some good looks tonight. Adam Edstrom.
This line's been good. Two big guys that can skate. Matt Rempe's really got his feet moving. When he gets on the forecheck, you can see how much of a handful he was to disrupt.
Kapanen a strike to Frederick. That was the combo that's accounted for the game's only goal. But Colson tried to go inside. Frederick another chance, and this time couldn't get it across. Then a hard pass that eluded both Kapanen and Stetcher. We have seen the puck take some weird hops tonight. Rangers have hit 2 bars as well. For New York, 7 minutes to live. Edmonton looking to close it out. Nugent Hopkins centering Draisaitl and Roslovic. Fox, hard rim up the left-hand side. Draisaitl picked it off easily. Lafreniere tried to pull his way inside. Instead, it was Draisaitl shrugging off Lafreniere as if he were a mere token. Then Roslovic again, a tough play inside for Nugent Hopkins. Stick got into the way.
That was close. Good quick passes.
Adam Fox hits the trailer Zibanejad. And Louis, you made an observation. Roslovic makes some subtle plays that create looks. Here's Lafreniere, his shot.
Very subtle, skilled plays.
Panarin shot Gavrikov, and that's speared by Skinner, save number 27.
Bet99.net is a free-to-play website built in Canada by Canadians for Canadians. So Canadian, it's the official partner of the NHL. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Free play only website.
And you know, the aggression that the Rangers are playing with, they're playing a really tight game on Edmonton. They're checking very well, and we've got to give them credit for that. A lot of these bobbles we're seeing are good sticks by them, the pressure they're creating. They're not going for the big hit necessarily on puck retrievals and attacking the Edmonton Oilers, but they are turning a lot of pucks over because of that pressure, using that to their advantage. Quick plays like we just saw. Roslovic to Nugent Hopkins. Not easy to do when you're getting pressured that quickly, but that was a nice chance in tight.
5th game in 8 days for the Rangers to start the season. The Oilers playing their 3rd game in 7. Savoy with a chip by Henrique. McDavid with Borgen back. Hits the trailer, Savoy. Wrist shot off the goalpost. And Savoy that close to scoring his first NHL goal. Noah Philp got his first in the National Hockey League in Saturday's win over Vancouver. And Savoy within a whisker. Noah Lava to Brzezinski inside. This line hasn't played a lot tonight. Radish, Vakanainen shot from distance, and Frederick able to disrupt. Radish a wrap up. Brzezinski will get it back from Schneider and let one fly, but that's blocked by Trent Frederick. And New York 7 minutes to live, this down to just about 5. Wholesale changes for both squads. Schneider up to Carrick. Got around Nugent Hopkins. Darnell Nurse, however, with a poke check, will force Carrick against the end boards. Roslovic left it for Stetcher. Return to him, and then another good play off the half wall to Draisaitl, and Nugent-Hopkins will spoon it back into the offensive zone. Gavrikov lost his stick in a collision with Draisaitl, who then got buried by the towering Rempe. Popping back up is Nugent-Hopkins with control of the puck. Angled to Stetcher. Hard down low to Draisaitl. Protecting against Rempe. Shook him off. Tried to center for Roslovic. Bumped back to Stetcher. Wound back down low for Draisaitl. Into the slot, poked away from Roslovic at the last moment by Carrick. And once again, line changes aplenty. 4 minutes to go in the hockey game. Edmonton 1, New York 0. Frederick from Kapanen halfway through the second period. That's the game's only goal. McDavid lost an edge. He tumbled to the ice. New York comes up with a puck. Lafreniere to Panarin. Zibanejad got to Lafreniere, but Bouchard broke that one up, and New York must reset again. Zibanejad just outside the blue line. Double team. Tomashik forced it free, and then Mangiapane got it loose for McDavid heading for the net. McDavid shoots and a save, and the rebound whiffed by Bouchard. And Shesterkin again comes up with a save he had to make. Panarin the other way, and a great defensive play by Mangiapane as Lafreniere couldn't catch up to that pass after it was tipped. Lobbed back to center by Bouchard. Set level by Schneider and shoveled ahead, but the Rangers were offside. Miller didn't recognize, and it's coming back the other way with 3:13 to go in the third period. Edmonton a 1-0 lead at the world's most famous arena. McDavid hits Savoy off the iron. And then another chance. McDavid this time off the rush. Shesterkin, the denial.
Harry's at 5-hole great, but the rebound just missed Bouchard. Almost a shot off the pad, shot off the stick is what they call it. So heads up play by McDavid.
Frederick off the draw, sees the puck guided back to center by J.T. Miller, the New York captain, and his Rangers still not off the schneid at home. Kapanen stripped Miller of the puck and put Colson the smart chip to an open corner. Not hard enough to draw an icing call. Gavrikov doesn't get it out, and put Colson able to follow it up. Gavrikov trying the left side this time, and this time it's Kapanen who gets in the way of any sort of sustained offensive thrust. Carrick must regroup as Edmonton gets a change. Here's Carrick, got around Kulak to the net, and a save made. Stuart Skinner preserves the 1-0 lead with a tremendous stop.
Yeah, look at Sam Carrick looking over saying, yep, I've had some great chances in this one, similar to the chance he had in the first period, driving from the backhand to the forehand. This time he tries to go high. He tried to go low in the first period, tries to elevate the puck in tight, and just a terrific glove hand save. Good strong move by Carrick, stands his ground. Stuart Skinner does. Best save of the night.
Off the draw, and we're approaching the time in the game where we'll keep an eye on the New York net. Here's a blast hammered high and wide by Matthew Robertson. Carrick still on for the Rangers, hacked at by Edstrom. Here's Rempe. Edmonton bottled up. Bouchard launches back to center. Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, and Roslovic out for Edmonton. Carried onside by a hair as Carrick shoots into the waiting glove of Stuart Skinner with 2:01 to go in the third period. Mike Sullivan, the veteran coach on the New York bench, ponders a potential timeout. My hunch is he'll keep it going.
And a lot of confidence shown in that line, and especially Matt Rempe, who's been disciplined this year and using that size and physicality to get in the forecheck. But it looks like he's bringing the goaltender Shesterkin to the bench for the extra attacker.
So no timeout, but he will bring Shesterkin to the bench. He's going 6-on-5 right now. For the Oilers, Henrique, McDavid, and Mangiapane out there. Ekholm shadowing Miller in the slot. Bouchard rounds out the Edmonton 5. Draw controlled by New York. Lafreniere with his team trailing 1-0. 1:50 to play. Lafreniere in front, one-timer whistled wide. A good look for Zibanejad on a three-way passing play. Panarin in front, jabbed at by Cooley. He was stopped and then rolled back to the high slot and held in by Fox. Panarin Cooley. Panarin. Fox to Panarin. Off his left skate. Return to Panarin by Cooley. And now Zibanejad. Panarin. One-timer coming. And that stayed out. Rebound Panarin. Flicked it in front. Miller had it stripped. Kept alive by Fox. McDavid comes up with a puck. The net is empty. He shovels it ahead. Henrique will finish. 2-0 Edmonton. Empty netter Adam Henrique. Set up by the captain.
Got to win puck battles to make things happen, as the McDavids are in the house as well to celebrate that goal going in the net. And relieving some pressure on a hard-pressing Rangers team. Adam Henrique buries it in the open net. But it's the board work down low. Bouchard with a good stick. McDavid with a puck battle win. This one here, a great pass again by Miller to get this out to Zibanejad. Ekholm selling out, and McDavid in there too, making sure his stick in there disrupting. This is it right here. Mangiapane quick. Taps it to McDavid, wins that little battle, and he just throws it to his space, knowing, number one, it's got to get out, but he's got Henrique driving. Closing in on 1,000 games, Adam Henrique buries it in the open net.
Face-off won by New York, sent in deep by Taylor Radish. No move by Mike Sullivan to remove his goaltender at this point. He's got Brodzinski out there. Kapanen to Nugent Hopkins, tipped ahead and lofted toward the net by Draisaitl. That forces Shesterkin to squeeze it with 47 seconds to go, and that's somewhat curious from Mike Sullivan. Getting a line, he hasn't played a ton here out for the final minute, and I realize, well, no one scored a goal, so what's the harm in doing that? But 2-0. Not necessarily out of the game, not with the minute 8 to go. Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Kapanen. Potentially the last shift of this game for Chris Knoblauch. Does that surprise you at all, Louis?
A little bit. I mean, you still want to go for it. They haven't scored a goal on home ice this year, right? But they were out there for a long time trying to push, so therefore a little rest, but maybe a message as well.
Draisaitl to Kulak. Sent off the boards. You have your timeout too. Nugent Hopkins, you can take your timeout. You get that top line rested. I'm surprised. Kulak a drive, and that's stopped by Shesterkin. 20 seconds to go, and the Oilers are going to get a win in Madison Square Garden for the 4th consecutive time and for the 6th time in their last 7 trips here. A second home for Edmonton. 3,000 miles from their home at Rogers Place. The final seconds ticked off, and Stuart Skinner with his 8th career shutout and the 99th victory for Stuart Skinner in the National Hockey League as he improves to 3-0 at the world's most famous arena. It's the Oilers 2 and the Rangers nothing.